look at what's happening with me right now, and look at what's happening to this audience. I got yesterday word that in the last, 5 days, the Mercury 1 donations have completely reversed themselves. People are starting to wake up and say, wait a minute. I think this might be right. And so they are starting to reverse themselves. Now, I got word yesterday that Mercury 1 has had raised almost $600,000 on this?
It was the most, other than the Chris Kyle
which was $650,000.
And we could, $685, I think he said.
Yeah.
We could still surpass that, actually. But other than that, it was the largest donation of any non-disaster relief we've done.
I mean, when we have, a hurricane or a tornado, we'll raise,
you raise more than that.
$1 million, $2 million for that. But this is the largest non-disaster, or just it's nearing and will be by the time we go a week from tomorrow. By the time we go, it will be the largest single fundraiser that Mercury 1 has done that's non-disaster.
Christians, conservatives are putting their money where their faith is. They really are doing it. They're stepping up.
But if you look, go read my Facebook page. Go read the story on the Blaze. You will see people, and it's the same people.
Yeah,
it is exactly the same people that wanted Bundy to start pulling out their guns and start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same people that are there. They're conspiracy theorists. They're all of this stuff. They're the ones who are pushing these kinds of agendas because they don't want us to connect.
Yeah, and you talk about playing the same political games. This has been really an interesting story to watch that, because what they'll do now is they will say, well, Glenn Beck's doing something good for these kids on the border, but look at how his audience is reacting to it. They're reacting negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they have to say you did something that's okay, they'll just use that as a way to bash our audience. Well, our audience is the one funding this. Our audience is the one that's turned this into the second largest fundraiser we've ever had. They must not be so hateful if they're giving their money to these causes.
But with that being said, there are a lot of people that are on that uber scary fringe.
Not a lot. There are some.
There's a vocal.
Yes.
So there's a vocal minority that are getting the attention that are going in that direction. And look, it was the same thing. If you go back and read what people said when Martin Luther King first started. Look at what Malcolm X said. These kinds of things are going to be said about people who are trying to do the right thing. David Barton is a great example of this. David Barton is an amazing man, an amazing uniter. And look at what people say about him. And I don't mean people on the left. I mean people on the right. There are a few religious people that have tried to smear and malign David Barton. Then you have the people like Bob Barr who are trying to do the same thing. David is an amazing, decent, honorable, loving, non-bigoted man. I mean, I've met bigots before in my life. David Barton is the farthest thing from it. But this is the kind of thing, and we all have to be better. If you look at what Martin Luther King said about Malcolm X, he said, I'm sure we agree on a lot of things. There are some things that we don't. But I sure would like to talk to him and reach out to his heart. He was never negative on Malcolm X, even though Malcolm X was calling Martin Luther King a traitor to the black people, somebody who was going to get you killed, all of that stuff. I don't know about you, but I'm having a really hard time trying to follow that example. But that's the example we're supposed to follow. If you look at what Jesus is telling us to do. He says, love your enemy. Love those who despise you. Whew. I haven't practiced that my whole life. I'm new to this thing, and especially in the media and in the world that we live in. We make our money, we make our ratings, we make everything else, just letting it all fly, letting it all out. We would have never done this before. I remember when I got into radio, I was in Washington, D.C. It was 1982. Howard Stern had just become big, and he was on WWDC. And I said the word crap on the air. That's full of crap. And I got a full-page memo from my program director that said, I don't know where you think you are, but this isn't the Howard Stern show. And we don't use that language. This is the home of the FCC. The word was crap. That's how much we've changed. Now, if you're not describing body parts with actual either slang or actual terms, you don't get noticed anymore. And I think that we have to go the other direction. And it's really, really hard. Really hard. Because we've trained ourselves as a society. And we're maligning people like David Barton. Sponsor this half hour is Gold.